In this video, we're going to take a closer look at the Dominic Thiem forehand, in particular the changes that he's made on his forehand in the past year or so. So let's take a look at the older Dominic Thiem forehand and break it down. So what you're seeing now is Dominic really lead with his elbow on the backswing. So he's creating space between his elbow and his torso by lifting the elbow and starting off the racket head in that position. So the tip of the racket is pointing down towards the net or towards his opponent, and this is kind of that next generation forehand, something that we'll see Kyrgios doing, we'll see Jack Sock doing. A lot of these next generation players will lift the racket head in that position. So the elbow is going away from the body. Now they've created a bit of space between the racket head and the torso, but they're also pointing the tip of the racket down towards the net. Now this is very different to an older style of forehand. Players would really get the racket head back quickly. If you think about the older generations, players from the 60s, 70s, and even players who are club level, they were taught to get the racket back early. Now that's a massive difference you can see from this position, starting your swing, as opposed to getting the racket back early. A huge difference in the evolution of that forehand. Now Thiem was someone who used this forehand, so he's starting off in that position, and he'll start by having that elbow far away from the body. And also notice how high his loop is. His loop is a very big loop. He has a very big circle with that older style forehand, and this would work if he's playing on clay, and that's one of the reasons why he has such a good forehand when he is on clay, because he can then deal with those higher balls in a much more aggressive style. But when he's playing on the faster courts, especially at surfaces like grass or indoors, that bigger loop will cost him time, and he'll have to play really far back behind the baseline in order to actually have the time to execute that massive loop, that massive swing. So from that starting position of the tip forward, Thiem will then have that big loop, and he'll get into a position similar to this and come forward with the bent elbow forehand, and he's finishing over the body. Now this is that kind of older school finish. Even though he has that next generation style going on in this older forehand, he's still catching the racket, which is something that you don't see a lot of pros doing these days. The next generation players, they tend to just let it come across the body. So what has he changed in the last year or so? Now, we were in Indian Wells last year filming Thiem, and I noticed straight away that the starting position has changed massively. So instead of being in this position, which was his forehand a few years ago, he's now actually having the tip of the racket pointing up to the sky, which is more of that modern forehand. Someone like a Federer, someone like a Djokovic, even Nadal. So they're all starting in that position similar to this. And as you can see, the tip of the racket is pointing up to the sky, and the racket head is much higher than the grip level. So they're in that position to start off their forehand. And now we see that Thiem has actually incorporated this into his own forehand. He's gone away from the tip being towards the court to now the tip being up towards the sky much more. So he's creating that smaller loop right from the start of the swing. If I have to get my racket in this position every time, it takes time. I need to then stand further back in the court. But by having the racket head in this position, it allows me to create time. I'm now saving myself time, and this will allow me to reduce that backswing because I can have a more compact swing but still produce power. Now from this position you can see that Thiem is still pulling his elbow away from his body, but he's not leading the stroke anymore like he used to. He's not going like this and starting off his forehand in that position. He's simply creating space, which is crucial, but he isn't leading as much as he would a couple of years ago. And he's getting into a position similar to this, that power position that we often speak about here at Top Tennis Training. Now the power position is crucial in generating power on your forehand. Now when you're getting into that power position, you want to be looking for the racket head to be above the grip level, which will create that leverage, basically force over that ball. I want to mention that we have a free forehand guide, the 5 steps to hitting the perfect tennis forehand. You can download it right away. I'll leave the link below this video. All you have to do is click on that link. That will take you to our website. You simply enter your email address and we'll send you the free PDF right away. So Thiem's getting into a position similar to this, but also notice the swing is much more compact. So he hasn't got that big loop like he used to. He's shortened it by around 20 or 30% on most of his forehands. Now this is crucial in having a more aggressive game. If you want to play closer to the baseline and you have a massive loop, it's very hard to actually hit that ball on the rise, take time away from your opponent by taking the ball early. Now by having a more compact swing, this will allow you to actually step inside the court, step inside the baseline and play in that more aggressive position. And this is exactly what Thiem has done. He's gone away from the big circular loop to a more compact circle, and he's stepping in the court much more and taking balls on and being more aggressive in the rallies, especially on the surfaces like hard court or even on grass. Now let's take a look at a video that we filmed last year in March, so March 2019. Thiem is working with his coach Nicholas Massou at a private club in Indian Wells. He's doing forehand drills and he's working on that quick preparation. Even in this video you can see that Thiem is starting with the tip of the racket pointing more towards the net when he's starting that swing, but he's already started to make those slight adjustments on his forehand. It's not as exaggerated as it was a few years ago. The swing is more compact as well, and the drill is set in a way in which he has to be quick with his racket preparation or he won't have time to make contact. So Massou is feeding him balls at a high tempo and very close to his body, so they're standing very close together, and because of the way the drill is set up, it's forcing Thiem to be quick with the racket preparation and forcing him to shorten that backswing and make it more compact. Now Massou knows that a bigger swing can impact Thiem's career, and this will make him more of a clay courter, someone who's really good on clay, really good on slower hard courts, but struggles on the faster courts and struggles to win those slams like the US Open or Wimbledon. So I think they've made these changes on purpose to actually shorten the swing, to make it more compact and allow him to then step up into the court. So he's saving himself time right away from being here to now being in a more upright position. He's got a more compact backswing, a more compact loop, and this is allowing him to then step up and hit the ball more on the rise. Now this shows you that even the pros are constantly evolving their game. They're not happy, even at being number 3, number 4 in the world, they're not happy with where they are. They always feel like they can improve, and they always look at all these different details on a particular stroke. And this shows you that for the players out there who are playing at a lower level, we should all be analyzing our games constantly and seeing what we can improve on. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope you've learned something new. Now if you have, make sure you click that like button, subscribe to the channel of course, and make sure that you turn on that notification bell. Also share this video with anyone who would benefit from watching it. This could be a tennis friend, this could be someone in your family, or someone that you coach if you're a tennis coach. Signing off, Simon from TTT, all the best and see you soon guys, take care.